so I did check in again. They said they don't have an estimated time for they know it's actively being picked. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is check into the runner and start searching for another one, and then I'll head back and see if I can deliver this one. The worst they can do is cancel on me, which they'll have to give me $4. So I'm gonna go ahead and run off to another one and see how that goes. There's no reason for me to sit here and wait an hour for, you know, some groceries. Get some information out of her, and she suggested it probably would take an hour. So you can see the time for a little bit. My phone is checking in. So right here, you can see that I'm gonna be taking off here to work the runner while I wait on the roadie. See what I'm saying? That way, since time is money, then I have, you know, I'm not gonna say a legit delivery, but waiting an hour for someone to pick some groceries. And she's saying it's a pretty hefty order. So she said probably someone else would park in my spot, probably, but look, this is not even completely full. So I spoke to her over there, and so we'll have to see how this one works out. There's no way I'm waiting here for an hour, so that's just too much time. But what I will do is check back in. Asking yourself, if I'm running the runner app, how am I going to check back in? Good question. They have a kill switch. So what I'll do is pick up an order, put it on a kill switch, stay off that order. Once I drop that order off, so I'm making money, come back and pick up the other order. That's what I mean by logistics. It's not for someone that does not understand logistics. You got to understand time and money. They're not going to just, you know, hand you the logistics on everything. I used to do this when I did DoorDash and I think it was Postmates at the same time. I'd have to do some of this too. So what it is it's doubling up on, you know, attempting to get something when they're slowing down. That's why you don't just work one app. You work many apps because time is money. So we'll see what happens. So basically it's time for a bueno break. So we're taking a bueno break. All right. So I went ahead and just, while I'm waiting, I'm just gonna get a big freaking burrito, and I'll probably head back and keep the other one running. Okay. So I'm gonna head back, turn off the copyright. I'm gonna head back to Walmart and keep the other one running. So I've got 2 apps running right now, just in case. I can always pause. They have a kill switch that you can just pause on the one, and I'm just gonna go back to my slot and keep on waiting for those grocery orders. All right, now since I have been with our Roadie order, I've been waiting exactly about 29 minutes. So we're roughly at about 28, 29 minutes. It's about to hit the 29-minute mark. So she said it could take some time. And I'm going to go see if anyone took my spot on 27, because really, to be honest, it's not that busy. But the guy that was carrying out the groceries, he seemed to be moving like pretty slow. So he wasn't like hustling them out or anything. No, there's no one on 27. But there is someone on 26. Back at 27. Okay. All right. Well, I spoke to the attendant over that way, and they sent me a message. So Roadie sent me a message saying a friendly reminder, blah, 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 because I went and got a burrito. But I did turn on the runner. So I went ahead and hit the kill switch on the runner, and it's been about 30 minutes. Now with the runner, I didn't have it on for maybe 30 seconds. So I went ahead and hit a kill switch, which it counts down from 14 minutes and downward. So once those 14 minutes are up, then it'll just go back in normal status. And she said she basically was on their way. So that kill switch goes on for about 14 minutes, about 15 minutes, but it's about 14 minutes now. And she said that they already have it. So I'm waiting right now. All right. So the kill switch on the runner is about 12 minutes and 51 seconds. I just spoke to the attendant. They said that it was picked. So they picked that within 30 minutes, which isn't too bad. So this one actually got better, because the last time that we came here, it was right before Christmas Eve, and it took them 2 hours to do an order like this. And we only dropped off 4 containers of popcorn. and I think we got like 14 bucks for it. This one is showing a larger order only at $10. It's going to a second floor, like in an apartment, second floor, something like that. But she just now looked at her device, which is like a Walmart check-in device thing, and she said that it is ready to go. It's some kind of thing that they can watch and see where it's being picked and things like that. She said that they already have it. But I've been sitting here and I've recorded this, which took 47 seconds, plus another recording they did that with about another 40 seconds just earlier. So since I spoke with her, it's been about maybe going on 5 minutes. So still waiting on the burrito, because the burrito's right here ready to go into my mouth. There's the burrito there, but I'm still waiting. So what I decided to do on this one is go ahead, and once she gets here and she starts loading it, go ahead and take a bite of the burrito, and then I'll get an order on the other one. The only thing is I can't get the order on the other one until the countdown is done. And let me go check the countdown on the other one real quick. So the other one's at 10 minutes and 45 seconds. So I'm assuming if she said the order's already picked and it's ready to go, and I've talked to her 2 times, and another attendant from another nation, I talked to him at least 1 time, and she's from another nation too, but she told me it would take about, I don't know, she thought it was ready. So I'm sitting here at 10 minutes, 45 second countdown on the other app. So I'm hoping that she gets here and drops it off before that 10 minutes is up, because that's when I'm going to go ahead and decide to take the bite of the burrito, and the other app would go ahead and go off because it's waiting for me to take a bite of the burrito. That's what it usually does. So right as I take a bite of the taco or the burrito, it goes off. It's like, we're ready. They're taking their sweet time. So Christmas Eve, we were here about 2 days before Christmas Eve, and it took them 2 hours for literally 4 containers of popcorn and like a few weird Christmas items that were like chips, like tostada chips or something you'd buy for Christmas time when family's coming over. For the 4 containers of popcorn was probably wrapped for Christmas gifts for family members. So when they're watching movies, they can eat the popcorn too. You know, there's a little container of popcorn that's like in a can. That shouldn't have took 2 hours. It was not even a large one at all. I was really grateful for that order because I actually got I got $4 for excessive wait time. So they paid me $4 for making me wait 2 hours, and they paid me $14 to drop it off. So I got an extra bonus for waiting the 2 hours. It is kind of frustrating because this is like major logistics work that a lot of people just can't do. But being in the theater, we learn to do this because we might have to do a quick change, go backstage, become a whole new character. We memorize, like, I don't know, if you're doing Shakespeare, it's a tremendous amount of lines. And then you come out and you have to play a whole new character. And then when you're done with that, you do another quick change, and then you're playing like another character, you know. Actors play sometimes 4 characters in one play, you know. So it reminds me of a lot of logistics, because in theater, when you're done with that role, or you have to do a quick change and you become another character, you go back, they start redressing you, because you usually have a dresser. Then they redress you, and you got to get a mustache, or they put on a hat and all this other stuff. You only have a few minutes to do that. By the time you go back out, you got to remember the blocking, where you're at, you got to remember all the lines, and then you're done with that. All of that is kind of like really quick logistics. So you see like actors like Robin Williams and stuff that can go out there and play like 10 characters or whatever in like a matter of a few seconds. It's because logistically they're doing it in their creative mind. This kind of stuff is, you know, a little bit weird, but it does kind of make me want to think, when she already said that it was ready, and she already knows that I'm ready to pick it up, and I already showed her, you know, the information, and yet they're still not here. So it only takes them so long to go over, get the cart, and come to this direction, and I'm sitting here waiting, and my burrito's somewhat getting cold. So my other option is pretty much just to go ahead and take a bite of the burrito and just let the other thing go off. And I can't leave the order, so my mouth is kind of watering because I want the burrito, but I'm still waiting because I don't want the other order to go off, because it's only got another 7, I would say about 6 minutes now. It's got 7 minutes and 11 seconds on the other app. So the 7 seconds and 11 seconds on the other app, and that's counting down. And I hope it's not going to take her another 7 minutes, because when that one goes off, you know, I don't really want to have to end this session, because what I really want to try to do, because these roadies are hard to get because you got to search them out, is right when I get that order, I want the other roadie, or that's definitely not a roadie, not the other roadie. I want the other app, the runner, to go off then, because that way, logistically, I'm getting what's called back-to-back, because you only have so much time in one night to make the orders that you need to make. It's very, very hard to do. What I suggest is buy something, you know, buy like a snack or something, but wait to eat the snack. Was that a rat? Literally, I saw something crawl down a pole like at lightning speed fast right over there. I'm going to show it to you. It looked like a rat crawled straight down into where that box is right there. I mean, literally, it looked like it dropped right down straight. It could have been a squirrel, but it looked like it was darker, maybe like a rat. By now, we're dealing with probably maybe about 5 minutes or six to 5 minutes left on the other app, which is the runner. So I'm going to check it and see how long it is, and I'll check back in with it. I actually saw, when I looked at it, it said 5 minutes and 37 seconds on that one. So I really don't have to get out again. Burrito's getting cold. They said it was already picked, so I'm going to kind of get out, snoop around, and see exactly what's going on. All right, so I just now spoke to her. She's coming right now, so I'm going to be able to eat that burrito in just a minute. But she is pretty much on her way to loading the vehicle, and then we'll be dropping it off. See, this says 25, that says 26, and that says 27. So we got that, which we needed. This is all for $10 right here. You can see the other totes. Coming out of Georgia, the Roadie wants to give me $10 for that. That's a $30 order. They probably spent $300 on those groceries right there. So, I don't know. I think that's a $20 one, but it's a lot of groceries. Now, I gotta admit, it's better than DoorDash, because, okay. Looking at another message I just got in. Anyway, I gotta scan this and go. I'll tell you about it later. But it's better than DoorDash, because DoorDash would do that. They would do that for like $4 or $5 or something like that, which is not freaking legit. But $10 is $10, so we'll see if there's an added tip or anything. They will pay me what they owe me, though. They will pay me. Blaming the whole state of Georgia. It came out of Georgia. But what I'm blaming is this, okay? Ideally, this is a grocery store drop-off for Walmart, which would have been used by, I think, a company called Stripe or something like that. They have some name that they use, and they're going to pay those guys $20 or at least $15 to $20 for a huge delivery like this, most likely, because it's going to take a whole hour to pick it, to wait on the delivery, so they're going to pay the guy about $15 to $20. They can use Roadie coming out of Georgia, which is an in-between. It's a go-between. I worked for a company called Go-Between in Los Angeles back in 2001. It was closer to 2001. And Go-Between did the exact same thing as Roadie did. What Go-Between did was they would deliver packages and go between the UPS or FedEx, so they would get there quicker. They were the quickest company in town. Only I was using a Mapsco back then. I didn't have a GPS. But they did have GPS systems. So that it was right when GPS was becoming very popular. You could buy an independent one at Best Buy or whatever. Now what they're doing, I don't know why I mentioned all that, but what they're doing with Roadie is they're saying, well, we don't have enough deliveries or we don't have enough delivery drivers for the Walmart company. Okay, I just got that information. Hang on, let's see something. I'll tell you about information about using the slider, because you use a slider thing. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's worth, I think $10 no, 20 maybe. I think this is a $20 payment that they owe me. They pay me $10 to haul all these groceries. Try 20. You know, a grocery drop-off shouldn't be any less than minimum of 15. Minimum of 15. 15 to 20 minimum. DoorDash will rip you off even more on something like this. They'd give you like $4 or $5 for this. Don't know why either. Okay, so here's the question at hand. Is Roadie worth it? Compared to DoorDash, yes. Why is DoorDash the lowest on my level. It's right there with Postmates, which Postmates is very, very low. Postmates has a logistic error. Let me say this way. Postmates has a reward they give people. It's basically called, it's hard to describe it, the reward. Okay. Postmates has, let's just put it this way. When you do 420 deliveries, they have a reward called the 420 reward, and a little marijuana lift, okay, jumps up. So they don't logistically know what they're doing yet. But you do get a 420 award for delivering 420 deliveries. So I think it's just kind of absurd. Anyway, so Postmates is good during Christmas time because you get to deliver Apple products. And you can make like $70 a day, or even 100, I guess, if you do enough of them. But it's very difficult. So that's what I was saying about Postmates, is that it's pretty low down on the totem pole. DoorDash at the bottom. DoorDash is going nationwide. They do kind of like package delivery. Maybe in your state. Linda called me and she wants me to help her do dishes at Subway. But anyway, I've done this kind of stuff. I used to stop all the time and help her with Einstein Bagels until I finally became an employer. Or I'm sorry, I became an employee. Sorry, there's a difference. I became an employee of Einstein Bagels, but then became a manager. So I was a manager at Einstein Bagels until two police officers showed up at the university, TCU. I was working at the TCU store under a general manager that was from Vietnam. She was a Vietnamese. And the officers were there before I started work, waiting, looking like they were getting bagels, but they were like double park and a parking meter, which they probably didn't even pay for the parking meter. And when I walked in, I went in the back room, and I guess my manager was using the restroom, or she was in the restroom. I guess that was kind of a hint. And I just went out the back door and left. I don't know, they could have been getting bagels, I don't know, but I decided at that point, well, maybe not. Supposedly, according to Oregon law, if you get a divorce in Oregon and you, like, let's say, lose custody of your children and you have to pay child support in Oregon, the worst they can do to you is take your taxes. That's in Oregon. That's in the state of Oregon. But you got to remember, in the United States of America, North America, okay, United States of America and Russia are the two largest countries in the world that have prisoners galore, okay? Which isn't exactly a word, but you know what I mean. They have a lot of prisoners. We just recently did a prison exchange with a basketball player. She was like a big-time star basketball player, black lady. She was exchanged for what? Another prisoner, which was a Russian prisoner. So we took a Russian prisoner that we had for probably illegitimate reasons. He was probably just a businessman. They got busted here in America for doing, just not following probably business code or something, and they just called him a spy, because they can just call anybody a spy. And they put him in prison. And then when Russia put one of our star basketball players, which is a lesbian, black lesbian lady, in prison over there for smoking marijuana, is what I'm assuming. Which, you know, plenty of people smoke marijuana in Russia and they don't really imprison them, but they had a reason. They went ahead and imprisoned her and then did a prison exchange for one of their spies. And they saw it as fair. And there's another guy that's been imprisoned in Russia, and he probably doesn't even know the reason why. And he's been there for a long time, whether they're going to do a prison exchange for them. So, listen, our country, the United States of America, and Russia are the leaders of putting people in prison for stupid reasons, right? Going back to Oregon, which is a separate state, because we do have separate states, right? In the United States of America, we have 50 states, right? And they all have different laws, different governors, different things. So in Oregon, you can just sit down, light up a big token joint and smoke it with a big smile on your face, and they really won't do anything to you. Same thing with California, because it's all recreational. But here in the state of Texas, they might get mad, and they might want to profiteer off your problem with smoking marijuana. Well, that's why a lot of people leave Texas. Not me. I don't smoke anything. I'm a godly man that was baptized in the Baptist church. But let me tell you this, they'll find a reason. Now let me go all the way back to 1666 with a guy named John Bunyan, okay, who wrote Pilgrim's Progress, the first novel, okay, the first novel that was ever created. They locked him up in prison, in Bedford prison, for one thing and one thing only. For going 5 miles from the Church of England and preaching the gospel, which was illegal. But that was the reason. It wasn't for child support, but it was for preaching the word of God. And he wrote Pilgrim's Progress and was a Christian. He chose to stay in jail when they said he could go as he pleased during his sentence because of the plague. The plague was horrible, and they allowed him to go freely. And he chose to stay and write Pilgrim's Progress in jail, and it was one of the most successful books and the most popular book of all time, because only 2 books were passed out to people when they were exploring America. One was the Bible. The other was Pilgrim's Progress. Pilgrim's Progress, written by John Bunyan, okay? And he was locked up for an inane reason, for basically spreading the gospel 5 miles from the Church of England in Bedford, if you know where Bedford is. So, you know, they just have stupid reasons. Just like medical field had stupid reasons trying to healing people by putting leeches on them back in a time when they thought they knew medicine, right? So we're still learning social grace, but I have a weird thing about martyrs in Christianity and people that are persecuted by the government. But it does say in the Bible that Jesus, it would be that the government would be upon his shoulders. And if we are in Christ, then we're feeling those whips and scorns of the government even today, which is not much different than Rome time. The only difference is they can't put people up and crucify them or burn them at a stake, which is what is known as a Roman candle. They no longer can do that stuff. They find that illegal and cruel. But back then it was illegal to do. It was illegal to burn a Christian at the stake because that's where a martyr came from. It was all a legal process. It'll be a Dutch angle, but anyway, this is the big freaking burrito. Let's see which way they wrap it. Not bad at all. Pretty good. What I would say is mostly, it's probably just like where you basically, you know, where you choose to go. Like some areas are better than others. Linda's still doing the dishes and dealing with Subway, but I'm gonna go do a supply run at Walmart for she's paying me in cookies. Basically, it just depends pretty much on preference, you know. You're dealing basically with preference, you know. Where you choose to work, you may get like $20 higher. I've heard that sometimes DoorDash is better in certain areas. It all depends.